To think that Pee-wee's Big Adventure was basically the world's introduction to Tim Burton is a weird thought. It wasn't my introduction to Burton's work, but it was my introduction to Pee-wee as a character and Paul Reubens as an actor, and I guess for that reason it still remains one of my favourite Pee-wee Herman films. This one was released in 1985, directed of course by Burton, written by Reubens and Phil Hartman, and stars alongside Reubens, Elizabeth Daly and Mark Holton, and it's a pretty fun film. I think I like it more because I know it's directed by Burton, and therefore I like the other Pee-wee films because it all kind of comes full circle. Were this not directed by Tim Burton, if it was directed by somebody I'd never heard of, I probably wouldn't have developed any kind of real emotional connection with it. I probably could have taken it and left it. But because there's that emotional connection, I actually enjoyed quite a bit of it. But I'm not by any stretch saying that it's perfect or that it's always my kind of film. Pee-wee Herman is an eccentric character who is described as a man-child. He's basically very fun-loving, energetic, not the brightest. His bike is stolen, and his bike's a very famous icon. If you're not familiar with Pee-wee Herman, his bike is actually currently in the Hollywood Museum, which definitely worth visiting if you haven't been. And he goes across America to find this bike, to chase after this bike, to retrieve it, and along the way he meets some exceptionally interesting characters, some very fascinating people. Obviously he gets himself into some very sticky situations as he travels across the country, and I would say that probably, in fact easily, the most iconic scene is the one in the truck. And I won't say any more about it. I will just say look out for Large Marge, who's a brilliant character. I feel like there are some special effects at that point that really scream Tim Burton, because this is, on the one hand, it's kooky and quirky and what one would expect from a Tim Burton film, or I guess what we have come on to expect from a Tim Burton film. But at the same time, there are aspects of it that I think haven't really been reflected in any of his work thereafter. I definitely feel like it's more Reubens' style with Paul Reubens' character of Pee-wee rather than Pee-wee being moulded by Burton's style. So basically what I'm trying to say is it's 50% Burton, 50% Paul Reubens, and that works. It works really well, and the partnership works really well as well, because I feel like they both have a very similar kind of humour. Certainly when it comes to the special effects in this, it's very engaging, very entertaining. It's not the most morally sound film, but there are some good things in it. I mean, to be honest, my favourite bit is towards the end. I can't really say what happens, but it's when we get to a pretty brilliant location. There are a few very odd places that he visits along the way, and I really don't want to spoil it, because, you know, I feel like that's one of the things that's exciting about thinking, what's going to happen next? What kind of situation is he going to get himself into? And absolutely Large Marge, just completely worth it, the whole thing. Brilliant soundtrack as well, very entertaining, very lively. Maybe some surprising songs in this as well, some that you'll definitely recognise. So absolutely worth looking into. If you've seen the other Pee-wee films and you liked them, then I will say you will definitely like this, because I feel like this is the best of the best. Am I biased? Maybe I am. I don't know. But at the same time, I feel like it's the strongest, with the strongest narrative, the strongest performance, the best mix of characters, the most, if I can say this, believable narrative. I don't know if that works, but certainly I think like it's the most realistic. This story could happen with another character on a more serious level, and it would still be believable. Without this film, where would Burton have gone? I fully expect he would have gone on to work more permanently with Disney, actually. This is a Warner Brothers film. But it's great to think that this is a fantastic starting place for Burton, and because of that, I'll always treasure this film.